Hello, everybody. What went on? I wanted to show my trailer. Can everybody hear me? I don't see any messages. There you go. Okay, just showed up. Hi, guys. Good evening, good morning. Yeah, very spontaneous live stream. Okay, you hear me. Good. Just want to say hello to everybody. Thank you to my moderators for being here. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Well, this is a really, really spontaneous live stream for me today. As you know, I'm usually not going live on a Sunday. But yeah, Hi, Lily. Well, Lily made me look into some stuff. And now I know, Lily, what you meant by the 6:43 phone call, right? So the 6:43 phone call, I was re-listening to Troy McCoy's interview with detectives or agents. And yes, it was there. So he showed detectives his the phone call. Basically, CW called him and he declined the call because he was driving, right? So I could not find that phone call on his Geotab or on his work phone logs. So it obviously is on his personal phone logs. So, and as I'm looking through the data, I was like, hang on a minute, something's not right here, okay? So what we're gonna do today is we're going through Troy McCoy's messages, but we also go through some findings I made today. I don't know how I could have missed that before. I went through the data so often and through everything so often, but somehow I missed it. So thank you to Lily to put me on this again. All right. What I'm gonna do is share my screen with you. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to do. This was really, really, really quickly made. But if there's any questions, feel free to comment in the chat and I get back to you guys after the presentation. This is all the original data and discovery files I'm going to be showing, so it's nothing altered or edited or anything. I just show you the raw footage. So let me just get my phone real quick so I can see what's going on in chat. Oops, I hear myself talking. Hate that. Hate that. All right, let's get into this. I'm going to turn my camera off just because of the data. And I'm gonna share my screen with you. So this is really spontaneous, you guys. I was like in a rush. Where are we? Here we are. Thank you, Susan, for joining the Radix family. Hi, True Crime Wifey. All right. What we're gonna do is finding out if Troy McCoy deleted messages, if he lied about phone calls, and clear up the mystery, right? So what we're going to go through first is, I didn't want to show you guys his interview because it's quite boring, but I have some excerpts of the interview I want to show you later on. Just the start of what he says about Geotab and all that stuff, right? So police is calling him in, as we know, because he lied in his first interview. I mean, he did not lie. He did just not tell everything, right? So thanks to the water truck guy, Chris Ostrander, we now know that Troy McCoy went back to Survey 319 on Tuesday, which is weird in itself, okay? So here we see some old messages. This is from the 12th of August, 2017. They basically talking like small talk, loads about games and football or basketball or whatever they watch, Panthers and Steelers and whatever that. If you want to go through that, pause that video or pause that stream afterwards, and you can take your time going through all the messages. So these are all the messages of Chris Watts' personal phone, as you see here, to Troy McCoy. Like I said, they're talking just, sometimes he's not even answering for a couple hours, sometimes for a couple of days. Hold on a minute. So red is CW and the blue is Troy McCoy, right? So here we go into the 2018 ones. They were obviously invited to a party at Shanann's house or the Watts house. So on the 6th of January, he's saying, "Hey, buddy, sorry we're running behind, but we are on our way. I really do apologize if we're messing up your guys' party." So there was some kind of party on the 6th where they have been invited to. And CW is answering, "You're a good man, no rush. Thanks for coming yesterday." So this is on the 7th, a day later. Thanks for coming yesterday. Bella and Cece both slept until 7. They were worn out. Then he replies, "LOL, our kids slept in too. Thanks again for the invite. We really enjoyed it. No problem. We'll go easy on you next time with Attack." Is that card game, right? So, and so on and so on. So he is not really telling anything that's crucial here. Then we get into the 7th. He's also talking about sports and stuff like that. So nothing crucial here. But like I said, you can go into this later on and read everything for yourself. So that's still the 7th of the January. After that hit, he might come out wearing a John Deere hat. Well, they're still talking about sports on the 11th. He's obviously concerned about something Shanann posted. He's saying, "What's up, man?" and sends a screenshot to Chris with the post of Shanann. And she's saying, "New in haste fusion technology." I have been looking for that post, but I cannot see it anymore. So I don't know if it was deleted or whatever. So Troy saying, "Did she mean enhanced?" And a few hours later, Chris responds, "LOL, yes. She said, 'Bite me.' She was excited when typing." So I don't know, you guys, what this post was about. Maybe someone of you guys know. And then Troy responds, "LOL, sorry, just wanted to give her a heads up. That's why I didn't comment on the post." So he's obviously one of these people who are, "Oh, you spelled something wrong," or, but there you can see he is following her, right? So he's following everything that's going on, and he takes the time to take a screenshot of Shanann's post to send it to him. Why not just comment, but that's just aside. Why not just comment, "You spelled that wrong," or something? then CW goes on to say, yeah, she was excited. Crazy, it didn't autocorrect to some crazy word. And he's, I know, right? So that was all in January. So then Cece got home with the flu or with the crud. So I want to see how she feels. He's inviting him to some kind of fight. And keep in mind, that was all in January. So here CW sends him a screenshot of Cece being ill. And Cece had fever, obviously. So then here on the 19th, CW is saying, that's good, there's a flu bug at their school, so I think Cece may have got it. And Troy replies, that really sucks, man. So that was also in January. At the end of January, the 28th, he's saying, combination to the Denver gate. And what shoots out 2013. So here you can see he remembers things. You know, he has a good memory. People come to him for that reason because he memorizes things, right? So then on the 3rd of February, Troy McCOy invites him again to a poker game. And this is basically where it stops. So they're not speaking, as you see, on a daily basis, right? They're not like, they are work buddies and stuff like that, but they are not speaking on a really daily basis because they're sometimes months apart that they are even talking to each other. So now we're going to go into a little video. This is from March, starting from March up until the day of the murders when CW went home. I'm going to try to make that a little bit bigger for you guys. And I will pause it in between. So here you see it's the 3rd of, it's the 3rd of March. 3rd of February, I'm sorry. So he's saying, Shanann has a promoter coming over for some training tonight. Sorry, brother. Hope you win the pot tonight. And McCoy is replying, okay, cool, man, I understand. I hope I do too. Should be a good pot tonight, whatever that means. Okay. So, and then you see here, it takes roughly 2 weeks until they talk again. Let's hear what they say and also listen to what the agents say and what Troy has to say about Geotab.
So do you know Chris went to any other wells before he went to this 319?
No, sir, I don't. But if you guys need to verify that, you can check his car site.
It is.
It's called a car site, or actually it's called a Geotab nowadays.
Oh, okay.
Narco has a Geotab,
yeah,
inside of all of our vehicles.
Okay.
So it tracks everywhere we go, how fast we're going, whether or not we're wearing a seatbelt, if we take a call over Bluetooth, everything.
Okay.
So.
So is Ruggin about an hour from Frederick also, do you think?
Well, it's you go right down 52, and as soon as you get to Hudson, so from Frederick to Hudson, I don't know how long it would take, sir. So you gotta go through Fort Lupton. So I imagine that'd probably be about an hour, maybe, to get to Hudson. And then I don't know, from Hudson to Roggin on the interstate going 75 miles an hour. You can usually make it to the Roggin exit probably 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. And then it's a little bit of a trek back into Survey because.
Where is Survey from? So is it north or south of the interstate?
It would be, all right, from the interstate. Because you go underneath the overpass. So I guess it would be on the north-hand side. Yes. Yeah, because there's a little 2-track there, or not 2-track, there's a little cattle guard, and you pass it, and you go underneath this really narrow deal underneath the interstate.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So what we see here is the officer or agents going through his phone. And I want to show you guys something. I'm gonna go through this again. I turn down the noise. Here, he's looking. He is sending Troy McCoy camera equipment for the Ford, right? So they must have spoken previously about something equipment-wise to the Ford F-250, because CW sends him some equipment for cameras, for tailgate cameras. Here, you see that? That's the broken freaking remote. So he sends him a remote and the prices on remotes to remote start or lock or shut the trucks, the Ford, right? So they were not in possession of any remote controlled devices. So we don't know what is going on and why would Troy basically pimp his work truck with a tailgate camera and a remote. That was weird to me. Then talking about sports again. And you see in between, right? They're always missing. It makes no sense. The whole flow of these messages make no sense. So either they were talking in person and then they send random messages, or messages were deleted, because the whole flow makes no sense to me. Useful knowledge. What useful knowledge is he talking about? Just out of the blue. Oh, it's useful knowledge, right? Here, the picture of an explosion. And McCoy answers, wow. 3 days later, McCoy is saying, she's doing good, man. Made it out of surgery just fine. And is now at home. I'm going to try and just take off tomorrow. I hope to be back at work on Wednesday. And this is McCoy. The blue is McCoy. So what is missing here? There is a message missing. Why out of the blue would McCoy send him that message? Right? And that was the 18th of June. So is he telling us he's sending out of the blue without CW asking or saying anything? He just sending him the message out of the blue, she's doing good, man. This sounds to me like a reply to a message what sent him previously. So either that was deleted or they were talking in person. But also, if they were talking in person, why not, have that conversation? Yeah, my wife or whoever he's talking about got out of surgery. That is really weird to me, Let's keep going. Then here he replies, awesome. So glad to hear that. Take as much time as you need, man. No turn-ons until Friday. So this is 5 minutes later. So what was he sending him previously, before that? Weird, isn't it? And here you can see, oops, that's a bit blurry now, at 8:15, and it takes him roughly 20 minutes, half an hour overall to reply to him. It's not like previously in January, February, or March, where he took hours or sometimes days to reply. So the message flow is better from, I would say, June. Here again, you're off tomorrow night on the 29th of July. So there's no messages from June to end of July again. What's replying? I'm working tomorrow. Then here again, something strange. A few minutes later, from 5:53 p.m. and 6:10 p.m., out of the blue, 10:04. Here again, 10:04. Then, you're off tomorrow night? I'm working tomorrow, 10:04. So what was in between? Is what I'm asking. What is in between? These messages, if you go after that stream, if you go back to them and read them for yourself, it's really strange. To me, it seems like there are messages missing. I don't know. I'm not sure. It could be that they were talking in person, but within a span of 17 minutes, talking in person and then get a random answer again. And what does that mean? 10:04, 10:04. Is that a service side? Is that an old battery? They weren't even talking about any batteries. He was asking him, "You're off tomorrow night. I'm working tomorrow. 10:04, 10:04. So what is going on?" I'm on PTO tomorrow. Forget to tell you. I will meet up with you for the Fire Stick sometime tomorrow, if that's cool. That was the Thursday before, the week before the murders. And he's saying, "Yes, sir, that's fine." Don't let Robbie steal your thunder. What time you want to meet up for that Fire Stick? That was Friday, 1:34 p.m. And keep in mind, this is all from his personal cell phone, so not his work phone. I'll show you later why that is important. Oops. He's saying, "Whenever, buddy. Then what area are you going to be close to when you leave?" He's saying 44. "I will start heading that way now. When you leave, call me so I know where you're at." Friday, 3:05 p.m. Here, parked next to the orange 5.0. Then he's thanking him at 4:22 p.m. "Thanks again, man. I appreciate it." Also here, Watts actually says he parks next to the orange Mustang. In his interview, McCOY says he parked next to an orange Mustang because he had one of those, a red one back in the days. "I'm going to forward you the link. Don't delete it." "Okay, LOL. Send." "Got it? Thanks, man." To his email address. I want to know what link that was. What link was he sending to him? "No problem. I should probably just go. They all the wells and set AF to 30 minutes since I have it open, right? Whatever they are talking about." That's what Brian would do, LOL. So, Monday at 1:13 p.m. "I hope everything is okay, man. If you need anything, let me know." Shortly after Watts arrives home, he replies, "Cops are here." Shortly after that, "I'm sorry to hear that, man. If it gets crazy and you need a place to stay, you are more than welcome at my place. Thanks, man. I truly appreciate it. Truly." So if they haven't spoken about Shanann and the children being missing, which McCoy says he didn't know really what's going on. He was just saying, oh, I gotta go. Something is going on at home. He's replying, cops are here. Why wouldn't he say, oh, Shanann didn't show up at home. She's not, available. I can't reach her on the phone. Nothing like that happens. All he says is, cops are here. Then on 7:59 p.m., hey man, any news? Not trying to bother you, but I know you're going through a lot. I'm praying for you, man. No news, man. Police searched the entire house. And there you can see he is messaging him like instantly, right? Instantly. Not like we did see before, that he was taking his time, replying to him after hours or some minutes. He's replying to him instantly. And this is also something you see only on that Monday. I mean, of course, you could say, yeah, he was always on the phone, right? But still, that's really weird to me. So sorry to hear that, man. Then again, sorry to bother you. Wanted to make sure you were hanging in there, man. I hope you will have answers soon. Just want to let you know we are thinking of you and praying for you and your family. Like I said before, if there is ever anything I can do, just let me know. Same here. If you need anything, let me know. I mean, of course, you could say, it's a friend, it's his buddy offering help. But he's repeating all the time. And also what we heard before in his interview, he is saying he never spoke to Watts on the phone, right? After he left Survey 1029 to go home. So how does McCoy know that Shanann left her wedding ring? This is information that police did not make public to anyone. So how would he know that on the Wednesday or Thursday? Right? They did not tell anyone. And he never spoke to him about that. Not on any messages and not on the phone, because he says he was not talking to him on the phone. This has turned into a nightmare. I'm truly sorry, man. A nightmare and a circus, dude. I just want them to come running back through the door. I'm guessing everyone at work knows. Yes, they know it's all over Facebook. But that was Wednesday or Tuesday, I guess. Tuesday it was, right? So they know, the co-workers and the other operators know something went on the Tuesday, and they put out posts, looking for Shanann and the girls. But still, he did not tell anyone anything about the wedding ring. And I doubt that Nicole Atkinson was in contact with Troy McCoy. Why would she? There's no indication that they know each other, right? So, and Nicole basically was the only person who was there, physically there, and saw Chris Watts coming out with Shanann's wedding ring. But like I said, we don't know what other messages went on. So, and then he's saying, I know, man, thanks, no problem. This is the scariest thing I've ever experienced. I can't even, this is thing. What you are going through, man. Do you have any family or friends there with you so you are not just going crazy? And he's saying, my friends Nick and Amanda are here. They've been here all day talking to news crews too. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you were not alone during all of this. I wish there was something I could do to help. I don't know, man. I really don't. I don't know, man. I really don't. What is he answering? See, that's what doesn't make sense to me. I mean, confusion, yeah, okay, but was there another message? And here you can also see instant reply, instantly. I will just keep praying that they find them soon. Keep me in the loop if you can, man. If you ever need to talk to anyone, call me anytime. So either McCoy, this guy, is trying to insert himself into something, or he's genuinely a good friend offering help over and over and over and over again, which is, to me, weird. Thanks, man. And that was it. Let me just read up real quick. Yeah, the texts don't line up. I mean, I could be wrong, but to me, it was just weird because, as you can see here, it takes hours, minutes, hours for him to reply. And McCoy, obviously, as you can see here, he is aware of what Shanann is posting. He's sending him messages, stuff like that. It's just, so either he's really nosy and into other people's business a lot, or he's a caring, good friend, right? So what I want to show you real quick, what we're going to listen to real quick is, hi, Dawn. Welcome. Thank you for being here. What I wanted to show you real quick is I just want to play you a little bit of his interview and what he says about the 6:43 phone call. And then we get into this. Okay, you guys? So just listen to this. This was when police came to interview him for the second time because he lied the first time.
Is it MCCOY?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your date of birth, Troy?
3/26/1985.
85. What's your home address?
3184 49th Avenue Court.
Dein brandneuer E-Commerce-Shop.
Ah, freaking commercial. I'm sorry about that.
Colorado.
49th Avenue Court.
Yes, sir.
Kind of unusual.
Oh, man. There's so many people that get lost coming to my house because there's another 49th, but it's just, I think, Avenue and not Court.
Yeah.
And it's up on the north side of town.
Totally other end. Yeah, right.
So,
We got the street roads, the avenue signs.
They need to rename their streets there, sounds like.
It actually
What's the
makes
zip up
sense.
there?
80634.
0634. All right. And that number I called you on, is that a work phone?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a personal phone?
Yeah. I don't remember it since me and my
That's
wife
fine.
changed it.
That's no
'Cause
problem.
we're from Kansas, so
Oh, we are?
I had that one memorized.
Where are you from, Kansas?
Elkhart,
I don't know
far
what that is.
southwest corner.
Okay.
My number is 970-238-0358.
All right. How recent is that?
This number?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've had it for 8 months or so.
Oh, for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just can't remember. I can't remember my work phone number.
Yeah, no problem.
I actually have it written down in my pickup so I can get it to people to call me.
Right. So, okay, so let's cover some timeline stuff here.
Yes, sir.
So let's start with on Sunday. So Sunday would be the 12th.
Yes.
Did you talk to
No,
Chris at all on the
I didn't
12th?
speak to him over the weekend. I seen him on Friday.
Seen him on Friday. So that was the last time you saw him before the
Monday.
work week.
Yes.
Okay.
I seen him on Friday, and he'd taken off Friday to take Shanann to the airport for Phoenix.
Okay.
And then he told me he wanted me to look at his Fire Stick that he bought. I said, okay. So
Oh, like TV Fire Stick?
yeah, the
Okay.
Amazon Fire Stick.
Sure.
So before the workday ended on Friday, he's told me that he'd meet me at the Safeway parking lot there in Fort Lupton. And he showed up in their Lexus, and Bella and Cece were in the back seat. So he jumped out, gave me the fire stick, and right after he gave me the fire stick, that's whenever Cody called. Cody Roberts, the operator of the Survey 319, and said that he thought there was a leak in the bypass line.
Did you hear that, guys? Cody Roberts, the operator of Survey 319.
And that's on 319, you said?
Yes, the Survey 319.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because that bypass line is now locked and tagged out because we done that Monday morning.
Okay. Oh, that's okay, so Bella
and Cece
or Cece.
Yeah.
Cece were in the back seat.
Yes, sir.
And was Shanann?
No, sir.
Was she in the front?
Taking her to the airport.
You already took her there?
Yes.
Do you remember what time this was?
I look back to my text messages I gave you because he told me he was sitting by the 5.0. There was an orange Mustang sitting in the parking lot.
Okay.
I think it was one of the ladies that it looked just like the one I used to have.
It was one of the ladies, the one I used to have. What ladies? Who is having an orange Mustang on Friday?
Because I had it red when I was telling you about that earlier.
Yeah.
So, and he's a huge Ford guy because he was a master mechanic.
Yeah, I remember you said something about that.
Sorry.
No problem.
Chris Watts. Okay. Okay, thanks. Forward your link. You just sent it there. Okay, right here. It's at 3:05.
Okay.
Just whenever you send me the text message, here parked next to the orange 5.0.
Okay.
So,
And he's driving the white Lexus?
yes, sir. And Bill and Cece were both in the back. They were buckled up in their car seat. And he had pulled forward in the parking spot, and I pulled back here. And he was talking to me for, I don't know, like 3 or 4 minutes, and you could hear him hollering in there. So he got back in the Lexus, and he backed it up so they could see me. And they waved at me and everything like that.
Okay.
So he could see Bella and Cece were strapped in their child seats with their seatbelts on. But then CW after that backed up so the girls could see him. So how is he able to see the girls being strapped in their car seats?
All right. And so you have no text conversation, no phone conversation, nothing like that over the weekend, Saturday and
No,
Sunday?
sir. Nothing.
Okay. So Monday morning,
Okay.
what time do you?
Monday morning. Okay. You know, you can hear in his voice without trying to be, incriminating someone, but a normal person would say, yeah, Monday, or wouldn't say anything. Okay. This concerns him. He's very nervous to talk about that Monday.
You leave to go to work?
I usually leave my house about 6 o'clock.
Okay. Is
I'm
that
supposed to be here about 6:30.
here at the office?
Yes.
So did you come straight to the office on,
Yes, sir, I did.
on Monday morning?
Yeah.
So 8:13.
Yeah, and I received a phone call from him Monday morning, but I couldn't answer it while I was driving. So you can see in here, it's phone call declined.
Okay. What, do you have the time
Yes,
on?
sir.
So there I'm gonna stop and share my screen with you guys again. You heard what he said? CW called him at 6:43. Keep that in mind. Gonna make that bigger for you. Remove myself. Here. He called him at 6:43. Obviously, I have all his work phone logs. And as you can see here, on the 13th, starting here, he calls him at 7:40 a.m. Troy McCoy for 3 minutes. Okay? So that phone call at 6:43 must have occurred from Chris Watts's personal phone. Troy McCoy also states he couldn't take the phone call because he was driving. And as you guys remember, Geotab they will get in trouble if they take or make any phone calls. So Troy is saying he pulled over. He declined that phone call because he was driving. This is Troy McCoy's Geotab. Now let's see if he was driving at 6:43. He left his house at 6:04 and 5 seconds. Drove to the Batcave. Arrived there at 6:27. On his way at 7:44. So, if Chris Watts called him from his personal phone at 6:43, McCoy's lying again because he wasn't driving. So why would he decline that call? He stopped at the Batcave at 6:27, continued his route to the Survey 319 at 7:44. So why is he declining that phone call? But taking the phone call of Chris Watts from his work phone at Technics at 7:40. Here for 3 minutes. Why would, just to throw that out there, why would Chris Watts call him at 6:43 from his personal phone? McCoy declines because he's driving and obviously lying because he wasn't driving. And then Watts decides, oh, now I'm gonna try my work phone and call him. And keep in mind, at 7:40, at 6:43, Watts was supposedly on his way to Survey 319, right? So something does not add up. Why would he decline a call when he was clearly not driving at all? As you can see here, 6:27, he stopped, continued his route, or started his work truck again at 7:44. Then Watts decides, oh, I'm gonna use my work phone now and call McCoy. Makes absolutely no sense to me. Does it to you guys? Makes no sense. So, 6:43 a.m., I declined call because I was driving. Do you guys remember that? Item 40, his personal phone. At 6:43 or 6:41, McCoy, Watts followed a call he did at 6:39 to Chet McNeil. McNeil asking McNeil, are you headed out to Survey? I'm out here. Cody said something about pumping up the 1029. As you can see here, item 40, that's his work phone. At 6:43, another message comes in, from McNeil. Well, since you're out there, you want to fire it up, have Cody bring his cables. Then an entry is missing. Right here, 6568. Entry 6569 is missing, as I explained to you in a previous live stream. So, but what did he do? He didn't call anyone. Item 40, his work phone. Then we check 6 something. He didn't do anything. The first phone call he takes or makes is at 7:40 a.m. with his work phone to Troy McCoy. And then it goes like minute-wise up until 8:10 p.m., where he lastly calls Luke, where he tells him not to come in the morning. So why would Watts decide to just call him with his work phone now? And previously, oh no, I use my personal phone. Makes absolutely no sense to me. So not only did Troy McCoy lie because he wasn't driving, it makes in general no sense. So this is Chris Watts' Geotab. As we all see, started his truck 5:18:02 seconds. And this is when I will need Don's help in the future to figure this all out with the help of the footage that has been released. So stay tuned for that. He starts off his truck again at 5:46 and drives to Survey 319. He arrives there at 6:53 and 57 seconds. So as we all know, he cannot make or take any phone calls. It would be registered, right? So what I want to show you guys is this, what I came across. This is the step counter of Chris Watts'. I just had a message. One more minute of the... Okay, Lily, I just received a message from Dave. I'm sorry, I did not see chat. I just received a message from Dave. Lily wants me to play one more minute of the interview. So I'll be doing that real quick. Sorry, Lily, I couldn't see chat while I'm doing this. Okay, just play one more minute.
That one is the timestamp for you. That's what I'm looking for. Chad McNeil. Oh, that's Friday. Monday. Chris Watts, right here. He called me.
It's the same with time.
See, and call canceled because I was driving because I can't accept that.
Yeah.
And that's 6:43.
So you got so incoming from Chris.
At 6:43. I drink water all the time. I have a partial put in about 1.5 years ago. And my goodness, man, you get freaking dry mouth from that
Really?
thing.
Okay, so incoming, but you declined it because it's on
Yes,
your
sir.
work phone and it tracks all that.
Well, my work phone is set up through my Bluetooth in my phone or my truck.
Okay.
And with that Geotab, it can tell when
It's gonna
you take a
tell.
call
Okay.
whenever you're driving.
And you're gonna get busted for that,
Yeah,
is that right?
you would get slapped.
Okay,
Yeah, because they came down from Keith Nosich, and he's pretty high up in the company.
All right.
He said that we can't use them anymore.
okay.
Lily, call canceled means Troy called him and hung up. He clearly states it's an incoming call from Chris, and he declined. Dry mouth from lying, right?
So,
That's when you're driving out to the site.
no, sir, that's when I was driving to work.
Driving to work.
6:43.
So,
That's when I'm driving to work, 6:43. Remember, guys, I showed you his Geotab? He wasn't driving to work. He was already there.
apparently you'd gotten to work a little bit after 6:45, is that?
I would have been running behind that day then.
Okay. Do you remember about what time you got here?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Can we check you guys can run my Geotab if that helps, whatever you guys need.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
He better he better not said this because now they're jacking his Geotab, right? But as we know, if they would have investigated that in depth, which they didn't, they probably would have brought him in for questioning again for lying.
Oh, no problem. Might need that.
Yeah.
No.
That's the important stuff. Yeah, all right.
Sorry, Daniel.
That's all right, thanks.
Okay.
Yes, Don, you're right. He is a nobody, but still, I want to show you guys what's up with their phones.
All right, so you come in the office between 6:45 and 7, would that be fair?
Yeah, that would be fair.
Okay.
Because I always try to hit up the burrito guy that comes at 7:30.
Okay,
Gabriel.
So did you get a burrito that morning?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, and he's here by 7:30?
Yes. He's usually here about 7:30 and just a little bit after.
Okay,
Not necessarily, Lily. I mean, he could have, when the phone call came in, which obviously the agent saw on his phone that he called him. And if he just declines the call, it will also say canceled. or declined.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm moving on to sharing my screen. So that here. So that's item 40, CW's work phone. As you can see here, this is his step walking and running distance counter. And I did get in contact with Jeff, the guy from Apple. He always helps me with if I have questions about Apple and watches and all that stuff. And I did ask him, does the phone count steps when you're driving? And he says the phone doesn't, but the watch does. So if you're in traffic and take the brakes or move your hands on the steering wheel like quite a bit, the watch will count that as a step sometimes, or movement in general. What we all know though, and that is that Chris did not wear his Apple Watch on that day, because we all saw it. It was on the charger in the bedroom when Officer Coonrod walked in. So he did not wear his watch. So therefore, the phone does not count any steps or walking distance or anything like that when you're driving, just to make that clear to you guys. So as we can see here, his work phone at 6 o'clock, where he was supposedly in his car on the way to Serbi, the phone counts steps. Right? How is that possible? Same here. Oops. Very little, but still steps. So while in the car or in his truck, he's walking around. So his work phone counts steps? Not possible. Let's check his personal phone. Same thing, walking and running distance. As you can see here, almost zero at around 6 o'clock. Here, zero, almost zero, 6 o'clock. So this indicates that someone was driving, right? But we think he has his personal phone and his work phone with him. So how comes that his personal phone does not count any steps, while his work phone does? But he's driving. Impossible. Here, the comparison. Personal phone. Steps. While he was driving. Where am I at? Oops. Steps while he was driving. But that's not all, you guys. Look at this. They did pull the location as well. And we move on to see item 40, CW's work phone. It counts location on the 13th in the Roggen area at 9:02 a.m. to 1:06 p.m. Okay, So he went to 2 different locations, starting or arriving 9:02 a.m. Stays there till 9:30. On the other location, he stays from 9:54 to 1:06 p.m., which lines up exactly with his Geotab, time-wise. Right? Goes to the survey 319, or not, we don't know. And then to the 1029. Lines up exactly with where he was. Roggen area, 1 location. Well, that's the area. Now, his personal phone locks the location in the area of Roggen at 6:58 a.m. to 9:12 a.m. So I asked Jeff again, is that possible that 2 phones supposedly in his pocket or wherever he was, we saw its movement on them, differ so much in the location time-wise? It's not possible, you guys, because as you can see down here, on the 7th, and here again, of the 7th, the 2nd of July, he went in that area again. And on the 3rd of July, he went into that area, 12:06 or 1:14 p.m. to 2:24 p.m. And then on the 3rd, 12:06 p.m. to 12:57 p.m. That does line up with the timestamps on his personal phone. So why is there such a massive difference in arrival of the site? His personal phone arrives at 6:58 a.m. His work phone arrives on site at 9:02 a.m. Impossible. In my opinion, like I stated before, I don't believe he had his personal phone with him or on him. Hence, you don't see Chris Watts calling Troy McCoy on his personal phone, because it wasn't him that called him, Troy McCoy. Also, remember this, you guys. Seven 18 hours, Watts took a photograph of his laptop screen, presumably sitting in his truck. Item 41, personal phone. The metadata confirms Watts was at the survey coordinates. The image is apparently only in thumbnail format, and enlarging it blurs out the writing on the laptop screen. And like I stated before, you guys, this is the only picture he took from his personal phone. This is the only time they can pin him to survey 319 at that time. We never saw that photograph he took of his laptop screen, which I believe is data of the tanks. But obviously I cannot prove it because we never saw this picture. It's not been released. Maybe I can try and request it. I mean, I don't know if they would give it to me, but why not? Because it's not something that, is crucial or something, So the phone call at 6:43, he makes to Troy. That Troy declined because he was driving, that liar. And the picture he took at 7:18 were the only 2 activities he did with his personal phone. And we see none of them. After that, from 10 o'clock, when he went to the survey 1029, then we again see activity from his personal phone. So who had his personal phone? Different locations. 9:02 a.m., 6:58 a.m. Work phone counts steps, while his personal phone doesn't. He calls McCOY with his personal phone, and I see no reason for him doing that because he is messaging and calling everybody from his work phone, item 40. But then he decides to take one picture from his personal phone and the sunflower pictures at 10:29 again from his work phone. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Yeah, so this was what I wanted to share with you guys. I don't know what you're thinking, but Miss Thing B, when did he get his phone back? I don't know. What we gotta keep in mind though is who was at the site, right? And also his work phone connected back to his home router first. And after that, his personal phone. In my opinion, and I can only show you what the data says and what people tell me who really know Apple and all that stuff, it's not possible. You cannot have steps on one device if you have both. You cannot have, it doesn't count steps on one device and it doesn't on the other. It's not possible, right? Also, the location, it would register that location as it obviously did in July when he went in the Roggen area. So this is really, I really, really hope you guys did understand what I was rambling. But yeah, that's just ridiculous. And this is just what I found by mistake, basically. Just because Lily put my nose onto it from the 6:43 phone call. And then I was like, oh, hang on a minute, something doesn't add up, right? So also keep in mind, you guys, when I showed you the router logs, where his personal phone connects to his router. Chris Watts is saying he leaves the house at around 5:20 or something. But then after that, he connects with his personal phone to the router 3 times. So that is really, really, really weird. I don't know what to make out of this yet. I would have to look a little bit deeper into this. But yeah. And I also see your messages delayed. So I'm going to go on my phone and take any questions you might have if I'm able to answer them, because I did not look in depth into this. But yeah, so in my opinion, somebody else had his personal phone. I could be wrong. I could be way off, but the data just tells you, you know, it's impossible. The count, the step counter, the walking distance, it's just impossible. Could have gotten his phone back from the white vehicle. Well, not really, because both phones had activity on. but they weren't at the same location, and that's the point, you know? How does this information line up with the router info? Well, this is where I'll be working with Don on the footage. So he will be analyzing and tell you exactly what's usable and what's basically bullshit. Well, I told you before, there are roughly 40 minutes. That's just overlay and loops. But I let Don do this because he's the expert. I'm just, looking from the outside, basically. Who likes sunflowers? Tumbleweed? That would be NK. Hi, Shalina. The corruption, misdirection, and cover-up is now readily apparent. Yeah, it is. No, law enforcement, Shadow Dancer, law enforcement has not released his phone to Ronnie. But this could also have a different reason, because they are required to keep evidence forever. As I experienced myself, I wanted to have my aunts and uncles' phones and bracelets and all that stuff. And the detective told me in an email that it's impossible. First of all, he said, yes, I can have it. And then he spoke to his sergeant and he said, well, you cannot have the phone in case there's new evidence, right? And we need the devices. So if I give you the phone, we don't have anything to look through again. Yeah, which makes sense to me. So yeah, NK and Dad. Oh, I'm gonna go back. I'm still on a delay on StreamYard. Yeah, that's what I think too, Don. They went through the garage, probably used the Lexus. Yeah. TNT is a troll. Does it every live? Who's TNT? No trolling in my chat. No trolling in my chat. Not really. I mean, I looked over it a little bit, but it does line up with his statement that he left early, like around 5:30. And also Troy is lying when he says that CW told Cody and him, I'm gonna be going to the 319 first thing in the morning. That's not true. He says, I'm going to the 629 first thing in the morning, and after that I'll check on the 319 if you want. So I believe he was nowhere near the 319 until 7:40 or something. Who came up with the name for Batcave? That's them, the Anadarko operators. So he didn't even go out there with them. Makes sense why he went on the news asking them to come back. Yes, KJ. I mean, I think I proved it to, the data that his personal phone definitely was somewhere else. I just cannot prove where it was exactly, like with who had it. But I'm convinced that his personal phone was somewhere else. Sean, NK was in the closet, I believe, on the welfare check. Yeah, I believe so too. Someone was in the closet. Hi, Melina. Yeah, I hope I make sense. Troy would be heading for the hills if he was involved. Yeah, probably. He's pretty nervous when it comes to Monday. I mean, I don't know. I could not link him directly to anything because he's not lying when he says he left home at 6 o'clock. What is odd to me is that he says he was driving and did decline his phone call when he clearly wasn't. But then he states, Yeah, you can check on my Geotab. So they know damn well that everything is recorded. They know that. And I think the truth and the answers all lie in the data. And I'm only, a normal human being. I have no investigation experience, or, well, not experience, but I don't have the equipment to do anything just like they do, and I found that basically just by looking through the stuff. So they could have done way, way better. I really try to be objective on this, but I can't with what you've explained. I don't know what you mean, Emma. Oh yeah, me neither. Me neither. I mean, he will be telling you everything. Like I said, guys, I'm not an expert. It's just stuff that really, really is odd to me. And that's, and I have trouble explaining it. So I really, really hope you guys understood what I was trying to get across. In my opinion, he did not have his personal phone. It's possible CW knew beforehand he would take the fall. I really believe he was in prison with SW and couldn't live like that anymore. So he just looked the other way, probably. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I think he's totally involved. He's right where he belongs. But if there are other people involved, with the data obviously clearly tells us, then they should be brought to justice, right? More questions than answers. Can't believe it was further investigated. Yeah. I mean, they had all this stuff. So even before he took the plea, they had the chance to look into this. Data doesn't lie, people do. So true, Lolo. I mean, you cannot mess with that stuff. I mean, they can. And they obviously took the time to make a shitty timeline of, in items missing and stuff like that. And, the technician, I've seen many cases, but never a technician who is involving his personal emotional feelings in a case, stating it like, fearing that somebody else would show up. It's like, shut up. Just shut up. Do your job. Be objective and don't take sides. And for that alone, he should be thrown out. If that would have gone to trial, they should have thrown him out just because of that personal involvement or personal emotional feelings. NK and Dad and Jim alone and CW, that's it. Yeah, but I still don't know what reason Troy would have to lie. I don't know. I really don't. No problem, Lily. They communicated. He took the plea before he even did. It's in the emails, Detective Wren. Oh yeah, forget about that scumbag. Yeah, so true. Strawberry champagne, nice. You can see CW texting Monday morning, the 13th at 2:27. If it's to Troy, then on his personal phone at the body cam, his personal phone connects to the router at 2:35. Yeah, that's very strange, isn't it? So who did give him his personal phone back? Who was there? Who was at Survey at 6:58? with his truck. Because obviously you're not allowed to take or make any phone calls. This is all connected. So I don't believe that he had his personal phone. And I don't believe he drove to... I mean, it was his truck driving to Surrey, obviously. But it wasn't him in his truck. No, should have gone into the girl's bathroom since it took 2 hours to open it, right? Rook was going to run for office. He made sure this was a quick win. Right. And also he knew damn well that they would never carry out the death penalty anymore in Colorado, because that was on the table for, I believe, I looked into that, I believe 3 or 4 years prior, and all chances were that they gonna abolish it. It was just a matter of time. Nasty water in Colorado, so true. Yeah. So true. If there's a chance to advance very fast on Watt's case, it is only by talking to him or his relatives that still have influence on him. Watts might get suicided in jail. I don't know. His relatives? Yeah, but he wouldn't even talk to them. So, I guess as long as he keeps his mouth shut, nothing will happen to him. He can't just make it out like, this stuff is not coming, obviously not coming from him. We do it. It's us finding stuff out. He's not saying anything. Yeah, mischievous IMP, that's true. People admit to crimes they did not commit. Happens all the time. You think it's a fake story? What do you mean, a psyop? Maybe CW is happy where he is. Maybe. Yeah. That's interesting. I think the R's know everything and we're paid off. Question for you, Sus. I mean, I don't know the family dynamics, and it's none of my business. But do you really believe that grandparents would be tolerating that their grandkids were brutally murdered, thrown in friggin' oil tanks for money? Good night, True Gypsy. I find that hard to believe. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know any family dynamics or what went on with them. I know some stuff people had told me. I'm not going to repeat. But I just don't see it. I mean, especially Shanahan's dad. She was very, very close to her dad. This man is just heartbroken. I mean, I don't think that he would have accepted any money to keep quiet about something other people did to his grandchildren or his daughter. I don't know. I really don't. They seem very shady to me. Yeah. I mean, there are obviously things that we don't understand. They did. But yeah, something is going on, definitely. Like Dave said in his live stream, why saying I want the evil people be brought to justice. And, at the sentencing, and then say, oh, we cannot talk about anything other than the discovery. I mean, the discovery is full of stuff that waits to be discovered. The insurance money hasn't been used. Who's doing drama? Catherine? I believe the Rs would want the truth to stay quiet, simply to hide possible secrets about Shanhan. For example, if Nico had a different father. Very true. Pride or honesty. Very true. I mean, Chris Watts could easily just request the DNA results. I personally believe that there are none. As simple as that. They took him away for genetic testing. But that's about it. We don't know. We don't even know if Nico was female or male. We don't know. Could not be determined anymore. TNT, what's going on? Who's getting mad? Nobody needs to get mad here in chat. You have the screenshot of what? If you have any issues with Dave, please talk to him personally, TNT. I don't know what's going on, but I don't want any arguments or anything here. It doesn't mean you have to go or anything. Just, we don't know what went on with you and Dave. So people here obviously cannot give you an answer to that. So you are better off talking to him about the issue. Okay? I cannot solve your argument or anything that went on. I meant that people seek attention, right? Mischievous IMP. Yep. I have no clue who Blackstone is. Yeah, this is not a drama channel, Archimedes girl. Oh, hi, by the way. But, I do help and try to sort things out, but I can't because I have no clue what went on between them. So I don't want to get into this. And I don't think we are the people who can talk about this stuff because nobody of us knew what went on. So that's why I said, please go talk to Dave personally if there was an issue. Colonel Russell Williams confessed everything in detail because the investigators confronted him with evidence. The Three Stooges didn't confront him with anything. Zero skills. Yep. I do think that too. Thank you, Sean. I mean, like I said, they have way more equipment. Those are the people who are the experts, and we on YouTube basically solved that thing by looking into the discovery. And it's nothing we make up or, add, or I'm pretty focused on facts. I do theorize in my head sometimes and, spin some theories, but I would never put anything out there I could not prove. So I would love to prove who was in possession of Chris Watts' personal phone, because I know it's a gut feeling I have that he did not have his personal phone, you guys. It's just impossible, And I fully trust Jeff on this. If he tells me That's BS. You cannot, the device is not, counting steps while you're driving. The phone will detect and know if you're driving. The Apple Watch does. He said that to me. But we know that he did not wear his Apple Watch that day or any day after the 13th. Hi, Mia. Welcome. CW. CW put the truck in park and texted at 6:31 to Cody Roberts. Where you at? So there are steps. Yeah, but keep in mind, at 6:31, he was supposedly in his truck on the way to Serbi. I don't believe Anadarko was involved in anything. I don't know. Can't prove it. Just so much stuff out there that, there's no answer for it. But I don't know. I really don't. Oh, do you guys know why they installed Geotab in all their work trucks? I gotta tell you, the reason for that was that in Texas, an Anadarko operator was on his way to some oil battery, and they were using their personal phones and work phones for maps to find locations. So what happened was that operator had a deadly accident while on the phone looking on Google Maps for a location of an oil battery, and that was in 2016 or 17, and that operator died. So from then on, they were looking into improvements. The insurance company and Anadarko had to pay millions and millions to his family because that was considered not safe environment, and working with their personal phones and using their personal phones or work phones to have use Google to find locations. And ever since then, it was rolled out in, I believe, 2017. And since June or July 2018, all work trucks and all Anadarko operators' work trucks are equipped with Geotab. So that is the background story on that. So they do really think about safety because they have always pay out millions and millions and millions of dollars for the families and when something is, happens. So, yeah. I mean, as it was, people were talking also about the cameras on site. I mean, obviously, every oil tank battery is, oh, thank you, Miss Thingby. Every oil tank battery is dangerous, but I mean, this Service 319 was, oh my God, KH, thank you so much. I did not see that. Thank you so much, KH. You're the bestest. Thank you so much. What was I saying? Yeah, but you got to keep in mind, guys, this Serbi 319 was not a very, very much operating oil battery. I believe it was, if I remember that right, I pulled that up for you guys in another live stream. My friend Mary found that website, as I mentioned yesterday, and it was only operating like 3 or 5 days. So this is just some oil tank battery that needs a little TLC from time to time, but nothing what is considered, to be extremely dangerous and, nothing that has to be surveillanced. Yeah, I kind of doubt Frank would keep that from Sandy. Just seem right to me. Keep what from? We don't know if he got the results. Obviously, they don't give out the results. Maybe that's the reason they wanted her stuff to be sealed. I don't know. Thank you so much, Mary. I don't know. So many questions I still have. No answers for it. But yeah, with that phone, I mean, yeah, that was just something I came across because Lily brought my mind to it. That 1004 is actually the way of saying message received in audio communication, and it's also used as you got the message. 10.4? What does that mean? Do you mean but he physically was typing that message 10 minus 4, if that's what you're referring to. Only paternal grandparents get results. So where are they? Yeah, cat. I don't know. I don't want to put any conspiracies out there and it's his child, it's not his child. We haven't seen any documents, we haven't seen any proof. So, 10 minus 4 is okay, Shalina? Thank you, I did not know that. Yeah, well, we don't have any proof. We don't have any documents. All we have is hearsay and speculation, basically. So we just have to wait and see. I would say he should definitely request them. Results. Okay, Don Joe is saying it's okay for acknowledgement. Yeah, thank you, Don. See, I learned something new from you guys. 10-4, big body. No, what I'm saying is we don't have any proof, so I wouldn't want to go into this. I have my theories in my head and stuff that I have been talking to Dave G and Dave about. I'm not a medical expert. I should probably send all this stuff to Mia because Mia is just great in explaining everything that has to do with autopsies and stuff. But yeah, hire me as a detective? No, thank you. I would tear them all apart, I think. Hi, Monica. Troy didn't answer. If he went to the office, he changed the subject. Yeah, he changed the subject quite a bit. And then when he gets nervous, yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Let's talk about Monday. Okay. Like you can hear the fear in his voice. So who of you guys think that Troy McCoy has something to do with it? Type 1 for yes and 2 for no. I would really like to know the crowd's opinion about this. If you could type 1 for yes and 2 for no. So I have a little overview of what people are thinking. So 1 is for he had something to do with it and we got to dig deeper. And 2 is no way, he has nothing. He's a nobody, like Don said. Yes, I still have to watch the replay. I only got half through it but 3 maybe. What's 3, true crime wifey? Maybe. He's definitely dodgy, right? But would you, if you're in an interrogation, would you tell office or agents to check your Geotab if you know you were lying? I think his head is just all over the place, to be honest. I don't know. Don says no. Well, all we have really is, why would he go back to Survey 319? Why? What is odd to me is it's okay, he's nosy and stuff, going back to Survey 319. Maybe he was really looking just for clues. Maybe he was, just a buddy and did not tell police, there might be something, because he wouldn't realize or, wouldn't believe that Chris Watts had anything to do with the disappearance of his family. But on the other hand, it's weird that he would tell Melissa and Chad to call in to say he looked weird on that day. He wore baggy clothes. This is what always was odd to me. Why would they call in to tell, and say specifically, oh, Troy said, please call back in and tell the agents that he was looking baggy, wore baggy pants and a baggy shirt, and it's not like him. I don't know. I don't know. Watts had his tools stolen from his truck. He needed a camera to catch the thief. He also needed his remote hub repaired to set the alarm and unlock the truck remotely. Yes, he did, but that was in January. They were talking about the remote. And also, ever since he had his tools stolen, he states, ever since that happened, he often parked at Nate's house because Nate offered him to check the surveillance. And at one point, CW states, oh, on purpose, I did not lock my toolboxes in the trunk bed. So to catch them, kinda. And ever since then, he unloaded his truck Fridays and reloaded his truck Mondays. So it was not that weird that he would do that on Monday the 13th. I certainly don't believe he put any bodies in there. Some people say there's enough space in the Ford 250 or 350, but I don't believe that, especially with the two large totes on the back seat, tools and paperwork all over the place on the floor. No. And then the hair. What wasn't vomit? No, I said that is Foscheck. There was no vomit on Survey 319. That pink stuff you see is Foscheck. It's called, it's a fire retardant. You put fires out. That's another BS story, misinformation, what's out there. What was that? He said he had his toolbox broken into with a flat screwdriver and then said it was his fault not for locking it. Right. Hi, Michael. We don't know if there was a police report. We don't know if there was a police report. Is where was Troy McCoy's work truck in the early morning. Well, we know where his work truck was. I show you. His work truck was 6:04. He started his work truck at home, arrived at 6:27 at 103 County Road, mile marker 25.5 in Platteville. That's a parking lot at the Batcave. Also, nobody really saw him. He said he met up with the team, but nobody was able to tell agents that they were speaking to him that morning. So I don't think he was at the office. Then at 7:44, he left the Batcave and went to Survey 319. Arrived there at, where is it? 8:51. No stops in between. 9:31, they all went to the 1029. Then he does some weird Chuck Norris moves here. You know, driving around on site, idling and stuff. We have his Geotab rule violations of that. Then he gets sandwiches or whatever he does. This 201 State Highway 52, that's like a truck stop. Then he goes on where you see the same address. He's just stopping without turning the car off. And then at 4:33, he arrives at home. Yep, this is what he does. Chris' truck had a roll of gray pipe in it, and the truck at his house had one piece of pipe from what my eyes could see. I know what you mean, those these hoses. Yeah, we did a whole stream on that. Dave did, I think. You know the sad part of this. I think FBI, CBI knows all this since he pled guilty, so they can close fast. The other get away with it as long as CW doesn't say anything, right? Yeah, that's what I believe too. They know already. So either there was a deal for NK or not, you know. I don't know. I really don't. I'm still in the process of making sense out of this. They refused to give what to Ronnie and Cindy? The documents? The defense discovery? Yeah, well, it's to say it like it is. I mean, it's none of their business. He can request that stuff at any time, but his parents can't, unless he authorized them to obtain certain documents. Oh, thank you so much, Dave. Are you working? Are you working? Yes, the pipes or hoses were rolled up. And he also had an expired fire extinguisher in the back of the truck. I don't know. I would have to ask Dave if they are going to request the DNA results, the what's. They should. I mean, it was their grandchild too. Oh my God, did I miss a sticker again? Miss thing B again? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is just not showing up for me for some reason. Mary, thank you so much again. Or did I just get that message from way back then? I don't know what's going on with that freaking StreamYard. Have to sort things out. Chris was the master mechanic. Yep. Oh, I just saw I don't have my cam on. Yeah, well, I hope I don't want to steal any more of your time, guys. It's Sunday. You got better things to do, I guess, than listening to me. Here, I haven't been given the answer yet on the DNA request or the genetic lab testing. Right. Yeah, we would just have to wait, right? We just have to wait. Okay, you guys, talking around, if there's not any more questions, then I would just go work on my documentary. And how cute. This is my Sunday outfit. Oh, and I have my troll t-shirt on. Oops, look at this. My little troll. This is my Sunday outfit. Sorry, bad hair day and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to bore you guys with the freaking interview. Feel free to listen to the interview on Dave's channel or on any channel. Please check out Mia as well. She has loads on autopsies and medical stuff. I suck at this. I'm just being honest. All I can do is Google and call medical examiners like I did before. And they were like, what the heck? Why do you want to know this stuff? So yeah, not really an answer. See, and this is also what I appreciate with experts. When I called several medical examiners and we're just talking to them about chloroform. Do you detect chloroform? Do you do this? Do you do that? They won't give you an exact answer. They just don't, because all of them said, I would need the documents to tell you exactly what went on, right? So no real expert would do or give any advice if they have not seen the original documents, because they want to be accurate and correct. That's why I don't like all these weird experts that are coming up on YouTube. I mean, there are a few good ones, like that what is his name? I forgot about his name, but he's not doing analysis really, but he tells you, how the psychology of criminals work or something like that. What's his name? Dr. something. And I really, really like him. And, he would never make anything that, just diagnose somebody from not even talking to these people. And this is what I really don't like. If experts come up saying, oh, I never heard of this case before, or I can, and they give you explanations of everything. I mean, it's just not genuine, in my opinion. Shalina, thank you so much. No, thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Yeah, it's Dr. Grande. I really do like him. Please don't make this, don't make me not watch him anymore, please. I really like him. He has such a, calm personality, and I mean, I think he's wrong sometimes, but he would never diagnose anyone. And this is what others do. And I don't like that, because you cannot diagnose anyone from not even talking to this person, right? I love him too. Yeah. Very dry. Yeah, he's just doing his stuff, isn't he? Thank you, Dave. Yeah, I really, really hope you guys, that was really spontaneous, and I really, really hope you did. I really want you guys to understand what's in my head. And sometimes I might not come across, or not making sense at all. I really would like you guys to let me know if that's the case. I really want everybody to understand. And yeah, this is all I have for now. He's good at what he does, and indeed he tells in each video that he can only speculate, right? And this is what I appreciate very much about him, Dr. Grande. Check out his channel, he's really good. Yeah, it's hard to diagnose somebody. And this is, what I experienced too by calling all these people and saying, tell me about chloroform, tell me about the stages of decomposition. And they're like, why would you want to know that? Shall I report you to police? What's on your mind? Are you going to commit a murder or something? And I'm like, no, I have this case I'm looking into, and they don't give you any answers if they don't see the actual reports. Yep. It's like a never-ending story, Lauren. You're so right. Yep. All right, you guys, keep going with what you're doing. I'm gonna be working on the documentary, which you will see next week, Friday or Saturday. And you look very well on Sundays. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I do another live stream. Maybe if I come up with something while doing that, preparing the documentary part 1. I never know. We never know. Maybe I find something I want to share with you guys. In case we don't see each other, have a good week and a nice rest of your Sunday. Stay safe, you guys, and stay out of drama. And yeah, have nothing further to say, really. Hope you enjoyed today's live stream, and really check out Dave's channel and check out Mia's as well. I think Dave or Archimedes Girl or Catherine can put the links up. I hope I'm setting the stakes really high on the documentary, but I also explained to you guys, don't expect me to come up with they met in 1999 and then they had 2 kids and stuff like that. It's not gonna be a documentary like this. It's gonna be a discovery-based documentary, and I will input all the findings I had data-wise, and no speculation, just based on facts and what we were given in the discovery, basically. So I have still wait for permission from Ronnie to use certain photos. I asked permission to use some stuff, and so YouTube cannot strike me for anything or copyrights or some stuff. I did find some nice Facebook videos of Shanann she uploaded back then in 2015, 2016, 2017, and I think some from when she was working for Dirty South as well, just like little clips from her Facebook. And I created another little series. It's called Before the Tragedy, and I'll be uploading some of her stuff every day. yeah, so she will be not forgotten, and also the kids will be not forgotten. And like I said before, no matter what she did in her past, which is all speculation and we have no proof of anything, she was a human being and tried to make a living, and go through this world. And she just, all of them, they just did not deserve what happened, no matter what was or what went on before. Everybody is not free of mistakes in their lives. Yeah, with that being said, I wish you guys a great week. Like I said, I'll be uploading some stuff from Shanann's Facebook every day a little bit, and on the children as well, but I want permission from Ronnie for that, because some of the stuff is recorded in North Carolina at their house. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm not be uploading anything where I don't have permission for. So yeah, with that being said, don't want to steal any more of your time, you guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday and a great week. And yeah, see you definitely next week, Saturday, if not earlier. All right? Okay, see you later, guys. Bye-bye. Bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.